Alrighty guys, well I'm still thinking about yesterday's Avatar The Last Airbender trailer. I know we're about to get into the breakdown, but in case you missed it, here's just a glimpse at how I reacted.
Oh, we get the Avatar state at the end of the trailer!
Yeah, not dramatic at all, right? What's going on, you guys? James here with another real breakdown, and today we're talking all about the live-action Avatar The Last Airbender's official trailer that dropped earlier this week. Now, if you missed my reaction, please check out that video. It's linked in the description below because, guys, I was flipping out. Did I cry? No. Did I get close? Yes. But today is all about breaking down frame by frame, scene by scene, what it is that we witnessed in the trailer and some of my theories. But before we get into that, if it is your first time here at the channel, welcome to Real James, where I love talking about movies, TV, and yes, Avatar The Last Airbender. So if you do too, hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, tap on that bell, y'all, because I'm looking at the calendar right now, and we got a lot more content coming up over the next few weeks. And hey, if you haven't already, leave a comment below and let me know what you guys think of this breakdown, and did I miss anything? And if I did, it's okay, shout it out below. Alrighty guys, well, I don't want to waste any more time because I want to get right into this trailer breakdown. Then we're going to talk about the cast reaction. I'm going to recap that a little bit for you. And I kind of want to shout out some of your favorite moments from the trailer. So stick around because you might find your way into this video after all. Alrighty guys, let's get started. So the first voice that we hear is that of actor Lim K-soo, who plays Monk Gyatso. That's right, we heard Monk Gyatso's voiceover in the very first teaser trailer, and now in the official trailer, we get some more dialogue. But it's what he says that gave me chills on my arms, you know, the goosebumpies. He says this:
Our nation is embarked on a dark path, and the world might never recover. The world needs the Avatar. It needs you, Aang.
So I'm thinking immediately, this isn't just something he's saying out loud or saying to himself. I believe this is dialogue stripped from a flashback scene we're going to get in season 1 between Monk Gyatso and Aang. I believe this will be similar to Monk Gyatso and Aang's flashback in the original series where Monk Gyatso's talking all about the cakes and whatnot. Well, maybe we get a little bit more of that fleshed out in the live-action adaptation. Showrunner Albert Kim did say he's taken some creative liberties here, so I'm all here for it as long as they work. And then we gotta move on to that first shot. So the first voice we hear is Gyatso, but the first shot we see is that of a Fire Navy fleet. I mean, that ship looks great. And I believe this fleet is somewhere either in the North or the South Pole, but immediately what jumps out to me is that the CGI is incredible here and the massive scale of the Fire Navy ships are totally felt. Now correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm thinking this is Commander Zhao's ship. This reminds me of that moment we got in the original series where we see the fleet come in during the siege on the Northern Water Tribe, so this is probably closer to the end of season 1 if I had to make a guess, but this ship also is almost identical to Zhao's ship in book 1 of the original series. I believe it's, I forgot the name of it, but it's like this royal ship, and yeah, it's pretty much the same, you guys. And soon after, we get Appa flying over what looks to be a burned down town. I mean, this thing is obliterated. I can also make out Aang, Katara, and Sokka on Appa. So if I had to take a guess here, guys, I think this is going to be similar to what we saw in Book 1, Winter Solstice, Part 1, The Spirit World. Now that arc is actually really cool. The Winter Solstice arc is pretty dope. Also a little scary, but pretty dope. And I'm going to imagine this is also the same episode we get Heibai. It just makes sense. Speaking of Heibai, stick around. We're going to get into that because we saw Heibai in the trailer too. Now this next shot is arguably the same Fire Nation raid shot we got in the teaser trailer, so when you slow down the footage, you can see that those aren't just fireballs going through the sky, those are Fire Nation soldiers being flung from something. Now I was trying to make out what town or city this is that they're raiding. I'm gonna imagine maybe it's an air nomad city, and the reason I say that, it could also be the Southern Air Temple now that I think about it. But again, the reason I think they're fighting air nomads is because when you slow down, you start to see that who they're fighting against, these guys look bald and they have traditional air nomad attire, and possibly a staff is seen as well. So maybe I'm wrong, correct me in the comments if I am, but this seems like it could be again a possible flashback sequence of events. Now in the very next scene, we get what looks to be a Fire Lord of sorts. Now, I've been postulating that this is Fire Lord Roku, maybe? Sozin? I'm not sure, but I did some more research after my reaction, and I think this probably is Fire Lord Sozin. And the reason I say that is because I was going frame by frame by frame for you guys, and I noticed that who seems to be Fire Lord Sozin is firebending towards who looks to be like Avatar Roku, the person on the left side of that screen there. So, hey, if we get a little showdown between them, I think that would be incredible. Now in this next moment, we get our boy Aang. Well, we get him in the iceberg. It's his boy in the iceberg moment, you guys. And this is, of course, if you forget, where Katara angrily waterbends and accidentally cracks open the iceberg, releasing Aang. And this is what prompts that blue beam to shoot off in the sky and alert Zuko and his Fire Nation army of, well, the Avatar's whereabouts. So I'm gonna imagine they're gonna follow this scene to scene, a 1-to-1 ratio, at least in this moment from the original series, for the live action adaptation. And next up is a very wide shot of the Fire Nation capital, and a cool voiceover from who seems to be Kiawentiio, who plays Katara.
The Fire Nation has destroyed everything in their path.
She says, the Fire Nation has destroyed everything in their path. She ain't lying. We also get glimpses here at Fire Lord Ozai with some of his council members, it seems, and Daniel Day Kim is just looking the part. And there's also another moment in this trailer where many people were gogging at him and how he looks so much like Ozai. But before that, we get a quick look at Princess Azula, played by Elizabeth Yu, who's firing a bow and arrow. Now, I don't recall Azula being an archer in the original series, but this isn't a hard creative decision for me to believe, because why couldn't Azula be a good archer, especially in the live action series? You know, that girl is more than just a good bender. She is probably a pretty darn good archer as well as a swordsman. So listen, I don't know, y'all, but I'm gonna venture to say I'm okay with this decision. It seems like she also fires an arrow that explodes behind Aang, Katara, and Sokka in the following clip. Now that could just be some expert cutting in the trailer to maybe make us believe this, but it's subverting our expectations. However, this green fire, I just don't know what it is, but it seems like it's going to do some damage. There's also an instance here in this moment where the CGI to me is a little too noticeable. It was a little rough around the edges, not gonna lie, but I'm okay with them refining this because they've got some time, and I have heard that the CGI is still in those final stages. So if that's the case, hey, more power to them. Take all the time you need, but we're still getting the series on February 22nd. Now, right after this, we see some ostrich horses being ridden by what looks to be Earth Kingdom soldiers, and Prince Zuko is seen firebending in this same scene, so it's possible he runs into some trouble himself. But ostrich horses, fine. I never thought I'd see them in live action format, but here we are. It's also really cool to see this next location unveiled, the Southern Air Temple itself. It looks like this is the moment where Aang revisits his former home after being frozen for 100 years. Yeah, full century is kind of crazy, right? But CGI is definitely on par with what we got earlier in this trailer with the Fire Naval Fleet. So I'm okay. It looks like the CGI, at least for the locations, it seems to be on point. So in the moments in this trailer where I thought a little too noticeable that they're on a soundstage, or maybe that's a green screen in the background, that's something that I think could be easily cleaned up in post. But yeah, the CGI here is really impressive, guys. Now I'm gonna need your help, real fam, because I just don't know what to do about this next shot. I don't know what to think because it's stumping me. Is this an overhead shot of rubble from a water tribe location, perhaps? Now, if it is, it's probably a shot towards the end of season 1 where the Fire Nation lays siege to the North Pole. But other than that, what could it be, guys? A flashback with Grand and a young Katara and Sokka, maybe? And maybe that's where we learn about Katara's mom getting killed? Oh my gosh! Now in this next moment, I immediately noticed how excellent the costuming was for Sokka and Katara. I mean, it's on full display in this trailer throughout, but in this instance, we do see how amazing it is, and there's a quick convo between Sokka and Katara. And Katara says here, if the world is going to have any chance, it's going to need Aang. And I'm like, Kiawentiio, you are representing my favorite character in Avatar The Last Airbender, and you're doing it so well. And then we see a beautiful shot of Aang, Katara, and Sokka riding on Appa. Again, there's been some amazing shots throughout this trailer, but man, this one really just hit me in my heart. And then after that, well, guys, I gotta say I love this next scene in the trailer, which shows Aang riding on an air scooter. And if you remember in the original series in episode 12, The Storm, Aang does this as well, more so during a flashback if I'm not mistaken, but it is really funny to see Aang show off and then run into a statue. But I gotta imagine, if you ask me, well, where are they in this scene? Probably on Kyoshi Island. Sokka then says, right, there goes the savior of the world.
Right, there goes the savior of the world.
And Ousley is absolutely embodying Sokka near perfectly. We then get a very quick glimpse at another Fire Navy ship, guys, and I'm guessing this is Zuko's, especially because the next frame shows Iroh seemingly on the same ship as well. But again, we'll probably know this when the season gets released. And after that, guys, we get our first real look at the armor and costuming for the Fire Nation soldiers, and it looks pretty menacing until Aang destroys all of them. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna happen. I also love how Dallas Liu's Zuko voice is basically spot on for the character too.
Chase down every hint of the Avatar. It's my destiny.
Got a little Dante Bosco influence there, yo. I'm not gonna lie, he's doing a good job so far. So I'm excited to get all of this in, you know, the serialized 8-episode format, just scene to scene. I can't wait till they knock it out of the park, hopefully. And it seems like so far they are. And next up, we see Uncle Iroh and Zuko side by side, ready to fight together. And this is most likely when Zuko and Iroh are on their own after being ousted by Commander Zhao. And man, I gotta say, guys, Paul Sun-Hyung Lee looks great. And the VFX work for his firebending is probably my favorite next to Katara's waterbending in this trailer. It's unreal. We then see Fire Lord Ozai himself, Daniel Dae Kim, and he's looking the part. And it seems like he's engaged in an Agni Kai. Now here's a theory of mine after I saw this clip and revisited it a couple of times. Could this be the scene in which we see Zuko get his scar? Just saying. They could open up with that, with episode 1, or they could open up maybe with Aang finding out he's the Avatar. I don't know, but it will be exciting. And right after this, we hear from Gordon Cormier, who plays Aang, and oh, he looks broken down, emotional, and he says, I don't want the responsibility.
I don't want the responsibility.
Y'all, Gordon Cormier sounds excellent as Aang, and I'm actually really glad they chose him because not only is this what I would consider his first breakout role, but man, oh man, can he bring that emotion, at least what we've seen in the trailer gives me that indication, and we're gonna need it because in live action format, Aang goes through a lot. He's a 12-year-old kid, well, 112 really, but he's a 12-year-old kid who's learning he has to save the world. There's gonna be a lot of emotions to juggle. And then they cut to a quick glimpse of Aang crying and hugging Appa. That's pretty much what I did after the trailer as well. Alright, let's move on, and now we get to see Momo. Lovely to see Momo, who lands on Sokka's head after he tells Aang that he doesn't have to do this journey alone. So Sokka is definitely giving some love to Aang, and this is probably where Sokka starts to soften up a little bit in season 1 as well. And for those of you who were a little nervous about how clean the costumes looked for our main cast in the posters, do not fret, because in this trailer, we see in this moment exactly where their clothes look burned, war-torn, and beaten up. So yeah, I knew that was going to happen. Marketing materials always look very clean, so yeah, guys, they're looking like they're really nailing it, at least in the costuming department. And then it's awesome to see Nyla and June in the trailer. Oh gosh, Arden Cho, she's going to play the heck out of this role. Not only does she look the part, but it seems like, according to Albert Kim and some of the other cast, they're very intimidated by what Arden Cho did as June. We then get a very quick frame of what looks to be Aang gliding towards a Fire Nation camp. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think this is, because I got no guesses for this one. And that's rare. I usually have a guess for almost everything. Alrighty, so now this is the moment where we get Heibai, of course, and it's our first look at Heibai, full CGI, fully intimidating. I'll be honest, guys, CGI Heibai looks much more menacing here than in the original series. Also looks like the scale of Heibai will be just as huge as the original series, because you can sort of see some shoulders for Heibai in that final frame, and ooh-wee, it looks really big. And then we see Commander Zhao leading an army through Kyoshi Island, and we also see Mayor Yukari, played by Tamlin Tomita. Oh man, this is going to be a cool moment. Remember, Mayor Yukari is an original character created for the live-action series, and I'm actually okay with it. It adds a little bit more believability to how Kyoshi Island has been running so well, I guess, and in light of them not wanting to be a part of the war. So one, really cool to see Ken Leung as Zhao in the next few frames, of course, firebending, and then after that, seeing the Kyoshi warriors fighting off the Fire Nation. A lot of things going on in this moment, but they're all good things. Oh, and speaking of good things, Sokka's here too, y'all. Yes, and Suki is right next to him as well, but this time without her traditional Kyoshi warrior makeup. I mean, Maria Zhang just looks like she's going to crush it in this role, whether she's in full Suki makeup or not. Man, she's just really going to crush it. I'm just a fan of the casting, guys. What can I say? The casting has been excellent, and yeah, it seems like everything's flowing by this point in the trailer as well. It's the first time we see Sokka using his club as well in live action. Now this next shot is very quick, but it showcases what I believe is the Earth Kingdom city of Omashu and the Northern Air Temple. Now guys, the reason I believe they're connected is because of, well, what we know, right, of Omashu and the Northern Air Temple. Omashu has those like cool carrier tracks or whatever, the ones that Aang and Bumi go on and they have a lot of fun, and they go real fast. But also, I believe this is Teo who's seen flying right in front of Aang, who's gliding behind him, and we know that's Teo. It's gotta be, and Teo's already cast because he's being played by Lucian River Chauhan, and I hope I pronounced that properly. But this would definitely be a departure from the original series, because we know both Omashu and the Northern Air Temple are in two separate locations, but I'm actually okay with them combining it into one. Now in this next scene, we see Aang in what looks to be a tunnel, hugging Sokka and Katara in relief. Could this be the episode in which they're adapting the story from The Great Divide, which is episode 11 of season 1? Or is it maybe something they're pulling from book 2, which would be, I don't know, the Cave of Two Lovers? I'm trying to think of caves here, guys, and tunnels, but it might just be an original storyline beat for the live action adaptation. Now this next moment is one of the best of the trailer, you guys, and probably my favorite. The Blue Spirit fighting alongside Aang. Now we, fans of the original series, we know who this is under the Blue Spirit mask. Oh, sorry, spoiler. I'll bleep that out in post-production. But yeah, for those who aren't familiar with who the Blue Spirit is, it's going to be a big surprise to you. I did love the fight choreography in this moment, where it looks like Aang just like ground pounds using his airbending, and y'all, I hope the stunt work is just as good as it looked here, because man, that gets me excited. And then we have Aang with his hero pose, presumably on a Fire Navy ship, and maybe this is very early on when he gives himself up to Zuko at the Southern Water Tribe. Although in this next scene, we do see Aang flying with Appa and then being dropped off on a Fire Navy ship. Maybe it's to rescue someone? Could it be Aang rescuing Haru? Nah, right now. And at this point in the trailer, we now see Aang fighting off Fire Nation soldiers in a snowy location, and if I had to guess, guys, again, this is the final showdown in season 1 at the Northern Water Tribe. It seems like all the snowy locations genuinely look beautiful as well, so I'm totally here for it. Alrighty, now we're going to move on to Sokka, because it's awesome to see him use his boomerang in this next scene to knock down a Fire Nation soldier. Yeah, that's all I got for that one. It's just cool to see. But finally, guys, at this point in the trailer, we get King Bumi revealed. Actor Utkarsh and Bukar is playing King Bumi, and we finally see him in his full-fledged glory. Well, sort of, because we don't see his outfit completely. We see him during the moment where he's challenging Aang and basically putting Aang through a ton of different obstacle courses of sorts to then hopefully save Katara and Sokka from being engulfed completely by Geminite rock candy. But yeah, guys, Bumi looks really good here. The earthbending looks really good here. It's just such an upgrade over what we got in the M. Night Shyamalan film. But again, that's not the bar here, okay? That thing is in the dirt. we're just going to judge this live action adaptation on its own merits, and so far, so great. Alrighty, we're almost done, guys. Alright, if you need to get up and stretch, it's okay too. But we're going to move on to showcase waterbending because it's on full display in the trailer with Katara, who seems to be fighting Zuko. Listen, I'm okay with it. But man, the waterbending looks good. Kiawentiio is just crushing it with all the movements, and she's flowing, and Katara's looking cool, and everything is just looking good so far in the waterbending department. So Water Tribe, if you're awake, it's a good day to be a Water Tribe member, I'm telling you. Alrighty, let's move on to this next scene where we see Jet alongside Katara fighting off firebending blasts from soldiers, and I gotta say, Jet's armor looks good, his weapons look good. I've never been a big Jet fan, but I have a feeling we'll get at least a decent amount of Jet, at least in the episode in which Aang and the gang encounters Jet in his mischievous ways. Now in this next scene, it looks like Zuko's fighting another Fire Nation soldier, and I'm starting to think that it's probably Commander Zhao. Remember in book 1 of the original series, Prince Zuko fights Commander Zhao, challenges him to an Agni Kai. He wins, but he decides to spare his life, and, well, listen, Zuko did the right thing, of course. I'm sure some of y'all were like, no, just end him. But Commander Zhao, you know, took offense to this, of course, so I don't see why not. However, I started studying this frame a little bit more in depth, and I see that this arm doesn't really look like Commander Zhao's arm. So could this be maybe Zuko facing off against the Southern Water Tribe for the first time when, you know, he's of course following the big beam of light? And is this Gran? Who knows? And part of me believes this because in the very next frame, we see what looks to be Aang fighting Zuko, and their bending collides in what probably is the very same location. Alrighty, y'all. So in the final frames of the trailer, we do see Aang entering the Avatar state, just like I predicted. Hey, I'm not right all the time, but when I am, oh, glory to God. Feels good. But yeah, I'm telling you, the glow here, the CGI work, not the CGI, well, I guess CGI, but mainly VFX work on Aang's airbending tattoos when he's getting to the Avatar state, the intricate way it follows all of the tattoo design is so cool, so in depth and detail. This is incredible and arguably might be almost cooler than the original series. I don't know, guys. But I'd have to imagine this is probably the moment where Aang is at the Southern Air Temple and finds out Monkey Yatso is no longer alive. And finally, of course, we get every element's logo, water, earth, fire, and air, right before a new title card treatment is revealed. It's a cool treatment. It's very nice. The Avatar logo, the airbending, tattoo logo is there. It's really dope. But yeah, for the most part, this is a good end to a very good trailer. Oh, and the last note I want to make here, the score by Takashi Furukawa is amazing. We hear odes to Jeremy Zuckerman's score as well, but just listen to snippets of the score, you guys. Alrighty, so now it's time to transition into the cast reaction. It was about a 7-minute video that was released first on YouTube Premium, right after the official trailer dropped, and then it went on to Netflix's public channel. So it's not anything groundbreaking, but there are some really cool takeaways. One of them is that the cast chemistry among our main 4, which is Zuko, Aang, Katara, and Sokka, it's amazing so far, and you can tell that they started to build this chemistry over time on set, and now it looks like they've never not worked with one another. And all 4 of them sat down, of course, watched the trailer, and broke it down for us. I love some of these quick facts here, so I'll go ahead and recap that now. Kiawentiio and Ian Ousley shared that the very first day of filming was during the Boy in the Iceberg scenes, which is pretty cool. And then Ian Ousley said that every day on set, he would try to integrate comedy into anything he do, which is Sokka at his finest. And what's really cool is I watched this after I actually started making my notes for the trailer breakdown, and Dallas the U confirmed that Ozai is fighting Zuko in what looks to be an Agni Kai sequence. Like we just talked about, I predicted it, and nice to see that Dallas you confirmed it. And like I mentioned, the cast said they are intimidated by Arden Cho as June, so it only confirms that she is going to be perfect as June.
I would be intimidated.
June killed it. I was intimidated. She'd walk around on set and have any scenes there. She'd walk by and be like, oh man.
And then Kiawentiio says her favorite episode here in season 1 is the one with Heibai. So yeah, Winter Solstice arc. Well, Kiawentiio's a fan. But arguably the funniest moment in the cast reaction and breakdown video was when Ian Ousley threw massive amounts of shade at M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender film. It was amazing.
I think it looks better than some other earthbending we've seen in the past. I'll say that.
And then the cast goes on to talk about Ukarish and Bukar and how he really dedicates himself to the role of King Boomy and gets into it on set. Gordon Cormier had nothing but praises to sing for him, so it's just very exciting as a fan.
He was really helpful because at times I would always crack because of how like good he was at being Boomy. Like I remember he was doing this thing, walking like in character, and he's just like
Alrighty guys, so now it's time for me to go ahead and read some of your favorite moments from the trailer because I asked and you guys delivered, so thank you again, the real fam. Y'all are special. Alrighty, so this comes from Mahek Faisal, I hope I pronounced that correctly, 7083, and you said, I loved seeing the Southern Air Temple in the trailer. The CGI is miles better than the live action movie, and you are absolutely correct. I know we just talked about it earlier in this video, but man, the CGI is excellent already. And this next comment comes from Manan Yogi 7529, who says, my favorite part from the trailer, when Katara's waterbending, that's how exactly I expected it to look like. Listen, I know that's how you expected it to look like, me too, and I'm glad we both got what we wanted. Yeah, man, Katara's the best character, man. Stop it. Stop lying to yourselves, guys. She's the best. Goddess Energy 13 wrote in, Sokka being sarcastic while eating food. I'm telling you guys, Ian Ousley is absolutely going to crush in the comedy department, but yeah, seeing him being that sarcastic, it just reminds me of the original series so much. So yeah, I think we're in good hands with Sokka, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. He seems to be like he's gonna do a good job. Ian Ousley seems like he's got it. Oh man, but again, thank you for each and every one of you that responded to that community post. And there's gonna be many more Avatar videos to come. So go ahead and get subscribed. Right now, I'm about to go rest my voice because that's it. That's all we got for this trailer breakdown, cast reaction, Easter eggs, all my theories. This has been so much fun. I love talking about Avatar The Last Airbender with you, but don't worry, we got more videos coming, and hopefully somebody will ask the Dragon Prince to drop their release date so we can talk about that here too. It's coming, I hope. Alrighty y'all, again, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you at the next screening.